Today, you will have to solve a mysterious case that has come your way. Are you ready to sit in the detective's chair? Carefully examine the clues presented to you, because solving this case will depend entirely on your intelligence. Every choice can change the course of the events. Investigating the evidence, questioning witnesses and suspects will proceed according to your choices. Can you do this? You picked up the dark newspaper and a news article caught your attention. Thomas was found dead in his home. Police confirmed that Daniel and Alexander had entered the house. The suspects were quickly apprehended. However, both suspects claim they did not kill Thomas. Detectives from the Doubt Circle have stated they will investigate the case. The question remains, who will face justice as a result of the investigation? You arrived at the house where Thomas was found dead. As you approached the scene with numerous police officers and news cameras around, you told the officers you were a detective from the Doubt Circle, and they let you in. They were well aware of your prestigious reputation and that you are someone special. You headed to the bedroom, and upon examining the room, you realized both a murder and a robbery had taken place. The police showed you 3 pieces of evidence, and you wanted to examine them. First, you looked at the bloody knife lying on the carpet and started reading the notes from the report. The report read, 2 different fingerprints were found on the bloody knife at the crime scene. The resulting analysis confirmed that these fingerprints belonged to Daniel and Alexander. After taking notes, you moved toward the second piece of evidence. Here, you saw the open safe with its contents missing. The police report stated the safe at the crime scene was found open and empty. There were no signs of forced entry or damage. It is likely that someone who knew the code opened the safe. Relatives of the safe's owner claim there was a large amount of cash inside. It is clear that not only a murder but also a robbery took place. As you move toward the third piece of evidence, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to show how good of a detective you are. On your way to examine the final piece of evidence, you notice a broken window and you read the police report. A broken window was found at the scene. However, no traces of blood were found. Additionally, the investigation suggests that the glass was broken due to a hard impact. Doesn't this case seem to be getting stranger by the minute? Things might be confusing, but as a good detective, you need to examine everything thoroughly. And now we move on to an important part. It's time to hear from the witnesses. Before listening to them, let's review the information we've gathered about the case. 25-year-old Thomas was found dead in his room. The person who reported it to the police around midnight was his roommate, Alexander. When the police arrived at the scene, they reported that the safe in the room was open and empty. A knife found in the room had fingerprints from 2 people. One was Alexander, the roommate, and the other was Daniel, the thief. A neighbor who witnessed the scene saw someone jumping out of the window and fleeing. We'll start by questioning neighbor Jack. You can see the chapters on the timeline below while watching this video. You can also click on the timestamps in the video description to ask specific questions. When asked, "What did you see?" I had stepped out onto the balcony to get some fresh air. While I was there, I heard shouting from the house across the street. When I looked back in fear, I saw someone jumping out of the window and running away. When asked, "Did you see a knife in their hand?" It was late at night and it was dark. I didn't see much. When asked, "Is there anything else you would like to add?" No, that's all I have to say. Now, let's hear from the jeweler, Emily. You can ask her the same questions. When asked, what was the relationship between Thomas and Alexander? They have been living together for a few years. Thomas valued him a lot. When asked, did the roommates often argue? They had a major argument in the past, but quickly made up. When asked, what was in Thomas's safe? We were planning to get married soon. That's why he was saving cash. The last time I saw the safe, it had $9,000 in it. We've heard from the witnesses, and they've given us valuable information. Now we can move on to the final section. The interrogation section is entirely up to you. You can proceed by questioning the suspects as you did with the witnesses, or choose not to question them. To solve the case in the best way, I recommend interviewing everyone. Move to the interrogation room and call in the individuals you wish to question. Statements from Daniel's lawyer. Daniel admits to the theft and has been punished for it. However, he denies the murder charges. He claims he did not commit the murder and that the fingerprints on the knife belong to Alexander, who committed the murder. He urges you to make a careful decision to find the real killer. Daniel admits to stealing the money from the safe, but insists he did not commit the murder. Statements from Alexander's lawyer. Alexander denies all charges. On the day of the incident, he heard arguing between the thief and his roommate Thomas when he arrived home. When he entered the room, he saw Thomas lying motionless on the floor. He also saw the thief, Daniel, fleeing through the window and dropping the knife while escaping. We've heard from the lawyers, and now we will question the suspects. Interrogating Alexander. When asked, "Why are your fingerprints on the knife?" "When I heard the argument and quickly went into the room, I saw someone trying to escape through the window. Thomas was lying on the floor. The knife was dropped by the person fleeing. I picked up the knife to protect myself and Thomas, thinking the person might come back." When asked, "What do you know about the safe?" "After getting over the shock of the situation and approaching Thomas, I saw that the safe was wide open and empty." When asked, "What was Thomas's condition when you saw him?" "Thomas was lying motionless by the window. I saw the blood on him and was scared to see my friend in that state. I checked if he was breathing and then called the police." When asked, "What was the reason for the previous argument?" "I had borrowed money from some bad people and they wanted me to pay it back quickly. Thomas owed me $10,000 from the past. Our argument was about that. It was just a typical argument between roommates." Now let's move on to Daniel's interrogation. Interrogating Daniel. When asked, "Why are you accusing Alexander?" "I entered the house to steal. Thomas noticed me and we argued. I never had the chance to take out the knife I had with me. It was always in my pocket. I heard the door open and quickly pushed Thomas. We were fighting right in front of the bed. I escaped through the window quickly and realized the knife was not in my pocket. I must have dropped it in the house. I think Alexander used the knife to commit the murder." When asked, "What did you take from the safe?" "I didn't have time to take anything from the house. I didn't even touch the safe. The safe was closed when I escaped. My friend killed him and framed me." When asked, "Where did you leave Thomas after the fight?" "In front of the door. Then I quickly escaped through the window, thinking Alexander would come after me." When asked, "Were you injured while escaping from the house?" "At first, I didn't feel anything due to the adrenaline from the incident. When I was far from the house, I felt a pain in my arm and saw a cut. I must have brushed against something." Yes, you have reviewed all the information and interrogations. As detectives of the Doubt Circle, who do you think the killer is? Please share your answers in the comments along with your reasons. You can provide your own opinion or discuss the situation with others in the comments. Your decision will directly lead to the verdict. If you want to solve more cases together, you can join the Doubt Circle by subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Remember, doubt is the key that opens the door to knowledge.